Cool. Hey, thanks, team. Awesome update with the most recent devlog. Really cool to hear about some of the upcoming gameplay mechanics. I've got a question, I think, around the kind of rewards. I think the explanation earlier was helpful. I'm still kind of curious in terms of the actual funding and where that's coming from. I think the devlog said it was coming from like Wheels DAO funds, and there was a comment around some of that going out to a DAO vote. So I'm just kind of curious how much is still, maybe either left up for debate or left up to the DAO community and Wheels holders to vote on, and how much is going to be just decided by the team. I know these industry DAOs are still kind of in this in between state where they're not fully released to the community yet. So I guess I'm just trying to get an understanding of that. Mostly just curious about the amount of funds being, I think, set aside for early testers, given it's, yeah. So I guess I'll stop there. Thanks.
Yeah, so the original intention of putting the funds into the DAO was to effectively create these like self-sufficient and decentralized industries. And at the time that was really unique because most projects, what they did, so to date, we've funded Wilder World off token sales, and the NFT sales have basically sat in the DAOs, and in some cases there's been payments made back to the companies that have provided services. But that I thought was a really novel thing because we tried to have the DAOs, these industry DAOs, be like their own kind of standalone atomic units with the goal of progressively decentralizing them over time and then utilizing the funds that came in. So like all the funds from the Wheels DAO, for instance, that came in, which is our biggest collection, that's all sitting there on the DAO. And the intention was to always utilize those funds to basically build out the Wheels game and to build out the Wheels industry economy, to have that capital flow back to participants, stakeholders, players, as well as being able to build up the Wheels team and basically have like a standalone franchise and create a model for kind of like pretty much incubating like new companies through this NFT model. And so we're at a pretty important step on that journey. We've at a high level, we've just made major upgrades to our DAO system. So we have we have a new release that's going to be coming out. It was almost done for the devlog, but it's going to be like another couple weeks, and we'll have the new DAO system live. There's a couple DAOs that haven't gone live. We'll get those live. And then what we'll do is this will kind of be like the last proposal that is not fully decentralized, but is kind of quasi decentralized, where we're going to make a proposition similar to what we've done with the Moto DAO. We'll get feedback from the community and we'll say, hey, here's what we're thinking in terms of how we want to manage funds, how we want to basically build this industry out. We'll get feedback from the community, and then the community can vote on it. And we'll work with everybody to make sure, hopefully get it to a place that everybody's excited about it. I think it's pretty exciting because right now that capital is just sitting there in the DAO. It's not doing anything. And I really don't think people are valuing nobody's buying Wheels because there's ETH in the DAO kind of thing. Like it's kind of, or the Wheels would be like priced significantly higher. So I think it's kind of, there's an opportunity for the industry to really leverage those funds to kind of supercharge the Wheels game and benefit the Wheels holders. So we've had something in mind for quite some time. We'll basically, get a draft out to probably the allies at some stage relatively soon, get the new DAO app live, and then we'll basically those funds would be, the goal would be to use those funds to basically reward players and scale up the industries. Now, the good news is even if we allocate a huge percentage of those of the value in the DAO to rewards, we're not going to reward it all at once. We're going to be really smart as a community in terms of how that reward happens. We'll be able to share data with the Wheels DAO to say, hey, this is kind of the rewards model we're thinking. This is what we want to do next season. But we can really use the value there with a live game to really supercharge the growth of the game, I think. And so that's kind of really the intention, is that similar to how, if you think of DeFi protocols and staking, it's like, okay, let's actually really reward people for coming into this ecosystem, but not just based on hype, like based on an actual game, based on actual competitive mechanics. And I'm really happy we haven't done that yet, and we didn't just waste that capital on rewarding people for not necessarily really doing anything. I think this is far more powerful, and is gonna benefit everybody a lot more. So this is going to be a major shift in kind of taking all the industries to the next level, starting with wheels.